So as far as we had a very fruitful 10 days in the end in Sierra Leone. We'd made quite a lot of homework before we went out and made a lot of contacts, which was very useful. And that it put us into a good situation when we arrived to actually have a meeting in which there was a large number of individuals both involved in general medical care, cancer care, palliative care, all attending that meeting. And that was hosted at COMAS, which is the medical school in Sierra Leone. And they very kindly, as I say, hosted that meeting, which felt very much like it was evidently a Sierra Leone concept. They were interested in this, they wanted to see our views, they wanted to present their views to us. And at that meeting, which was also the press attended and was in the front page of the newspaper, so it was good from that point of view. But basically, as a group, came up with 4 main areas of interest, relating ostensibly to cancer, but also overriding into other issues such as HIV/AIDS, particularly in the palliative context. And those 4 main tenets were, as I say, palliative care, linking through not just cancer but other diseases. They were trying to develop some better indication of what the burden of cancer was within the country, so trying to develop some form of basic cancer registry. They were trying to assist in looking at potential ways of screening or vaccination for particular cancers that are felt in that region of Africa to be of high prevalence. And they include things like hepatocellular carcinoma, which is the commonest cancer in men, and cervical cancer, which is the commonest cancer in women. And there's a very different cancer spread, one might say, to the Western world. But most of these cancers are driven by infections for which there are potential effective vaccinations. And then the fourth aspect then was linking in with trying to develop postgraduate education support, mentorship, to try and nurture the medical, both at a sort of doctor level but also at all levels really, trying to nurture the individuals within that country but maintain them within the country as well. Not to look at a situation where we're training people and bring them outside of the country and therefore losing or draining those evident beneficial professionals within that country, and really use their skills internally, but actually be able to support them and mentor them through that process. So when we came back with those agreed proposals, we decided that the first thing to do is set up some degree of a memorandum of understanding. We had some common links with Cardiff University to some degree here as well, particularly with the educational roles and some of our roles as well. So I'm a sort of part Cardiff University, part NHS employee. And so we actually struck up 2 memorandums of understanding through our contacts. One is a link between the Bullingdon Cancer Centre and the Ministry of Health and Sanitation Sierra Leone. And the other one is a link between Cardiff University and the University of Sierra Leone. And those will complement one another, very similar memorandums of understanding, but they complement one another, and hopefully as we go forward. And so they're to be signed off this week, so that's good. We have 2 delegates from our group out there, getting them signed off, hopefully at the British Council. And that's a huge leap forward as far as we're concerned. As far as the ones we've moved most effectively forward on in other respects, there's the cancer registry. We've had teleconferences between Sierra Leone, what's called the IARC, which is an international cancer research body based in Lyon in France. A group called WICASU, which is the Welsh Cancer Intelligence Surveillance Unit. And actually we've developed some strategies, hopefully, to try and develop that link to nurture an early cancer registry in Sierra Leone. And then, with respect to the palliative care side of things, we're beginning to set up some links, trying to develop a teleconference link where we have a mentorship based around discussing patients' care that can then be used to support the medical workers in Sierra Leone who work within the hospice and develop their role and to nurture their work and educate them and educate us as we go forward. And that's where a lot of the HIV/AIDS link comes in, because palliative care is not about purely cancer. Cancer is what it tends to get labelled, but palliative care is about general care of individuals with terminal disease. And the hospice has quite a good setup from that point of view, because they are not labelled for cancer. Part of their work, an allied aspect of their work, is actually TB, HIV, AIDS care as well. So they're able to then feed into the 2 aspects. The bit we're particularly interested in, because that's where our skills lie, is around palliative care.